The 4 steps to success. The first step to success is good ideas. You must be a collector of good ideas. Here's where my mentor did me the greatest of service, and that was keeping a journal of good ideas. Here's what he said: don't trust your memory. What classic information. Don't trust your memory. If a good idea comes, jot it down. 1, so you can review it. 2, so that you capture it. It won't be lost. This is so valuable. But mostly now, primarily for your own study, so you can go back over what you've collected. And in a now different place, same ideas, but now that you're in a different place, you'll see it in a whole new light on how it will help change your business, help change your career, your future, relationships, and all the rest. Keeping a journal, right? Now, this is for serious students. Non-serious students don't need to keep a journal. But for serious students that are serious about their health and serious about their future, serious about gathering things to make a contribution to others, keeping a journal. That's important. A collection of good ideas, first step to success. Here's the next step, a good plan. You got to have a good plan. You got to have a good health plan. My mentor asked me when I'm 25, Mr. Rohn, what's your current plan for your financial future? And I said, I don't have one. He said, you got to create a plan. A good financial plan. Here's one of the first things you must do if you're a parent. Build a financial wall around your family nothing can get through. Build a financial wall around your family nothing can get through. So number 1 is good ideas. Number 2 is good plans. Here's number 3, learning to handle the passing of time. That's one of the big challenges in everybody's life. Learning to handle the passing of time. And then here's number 4, the solving of problems. And that's what life is all about. Taking them on, finding solutions, executing, recording progress. 4 steps to success. Number 1, good ideas. Do your research on good ideas. Be a collector of good ideas. Keep a good record of good ideas. My mentor taught me to start keeping a journal when I was 25 years old. I've been doing it now all these years. If you hear a good health idea, capture it. Here's what my mentor said. This is good advice. Don't trust your memory. It's easy to say, oh, I'll remember that. Sure enough, the time passes and somehow it's gone. So he said, jot it down. If you don't have your journal with you, just grab a piece of paper and jot it down. Later, put it in your journal so that it becomes, attractive to sit down on a cold winter evening and go back through your journal. The ideas that changed your life, the ideas that saved your marriage, the ideas that bailed you out of bankruptcy, the ideas that helped you become successful, the ideas that, made you millions. Just what a good review. Going back over the collection of good stuff that you've gathered over the years. Be a collector of good ideas. To change your life, really, you need ideas. There isn't anything an idea can't change. And Schoaf taught me the major problem is lack of an idea, not a problem. At first, I didn't have any money. I said to Mr. Schoaf, I don't have any money. He said, that's not a problem. Now, see, up until then, I always thought it was. Right? I was confused. He said, no, the problem is lack of an idea on how to create money and wealth. It isn't lack of money, it's lack of ideas. So if you get the ideas, see, you can change anything. Now, to get ideas, you need a constant study of finding out. Now, Schoaf also said, when you find out something that works, put the information in your journal. Don't use your head for a filing cabinet. Put it in your journal so that you can do the next best thing. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Go over it. And if you repeat it, go over it, sure enough, someday, some mysterious day, the idea takes root, starts to grow, and shows up in your bank account, and your dress, and your personality, and your lifestyle. But capture the ideas in your journal. Find out how things work. Next step to success, good plans. A good plan for the day, a good plan for the future, a good health plan, a good plan for your marriage. Building anything is like building a house. You need to have a plan. Here's a good time management idea. When should you start the day? As soon as you have it finished. It's like building a house, building a life.
What if you just started laying bricks and somebody says, "What are you building?" And you said, "I have no idea." See, they would come and take you away to a safe place. So you don't start the house until you finish it. Is it possible to finish the house before you start it? Yes, it would be foolish to start until you had it finished. Not a bad time management idea. Don't start the day till it's pretty well finished, at least the outline of the day. Leave some room to improvise, leave some room for extra strategy, but finish it before you start. Here's the next one that's a little more challenging. Don't start the week until you have it finished. Lay it out, structure it, then put it to work. The next one is a little tougher yet. Don't start the month until you have it finished. And the big one, it's not a bad idea toward the end of the year. Sit down with your family for the family structured things. Sit down in your business for the business things. Sit down with your financial advisor for your investments and map out the year.
You must now take action on what you found out. In doing business around the world, we call it game plan. Put together your game plan. One of the major things we teach on the weekend seminars, game plans. How to game plan your office. If you're in sales, you need a game plan. Kids need a game plan. You need a home game plan, social game plan, a business game plan. Everybody needs game plans. Financial independence, game plan. Your investment, game plan. Don't think in your head. Put it on paper. Don't operate out of your mind. Operate from paper. I often ask somebody, "What are you going to do the next 6 months?" And somebody starts to tell me. I say, "No, don't tell me. Show me. Show me your game plan for the next 6 months. Then I can look at things and maybe I can help." But you got to operate from paper. Put it on a game plan. Take action on what you found out. Develop a plan, a game plan. It's ironic how we all understand the importance of mapping out a strategy for a football game or a basketball game. Not one professional team in the world begins a game without a complete strategy. But few of us take the time to map out a strategy for our lives, a game plan. But it's important. Here's the first rule for your game plan of life. Don't start your day until you have it finished. Don't begin your activities of the day until you know exactly what you plan to accomplish. Don't start your day until you have it planned, and do this every day. I know all this writing takes time and a disciplined effort, but remember that value is the fruitful result of discipline, not hope. Once you've mastered the art of planning your day, you're ready for the next level. Don't start your week until you have it finished. Don't begin your activities of the week until you know exactly what you plan to accomplish. Don't start your week until you have it planned. Just imagine what life would be like if you took time out of every Sunday to plan your week. Come Friday, you won't be saying, "Boy, did this week fly by. Where did it go? What did I do?" No, if you plan your week before you start it, you'll know exactly what you want to do, what you want to accomplish, what you need to work on. If you learn to plan your days as part of your overall game plan for the week, the parts will fit much better. Your days will be better, more effective. You'll be working smarter, not harder. And when you've learned to plan your week, guess what? You've got to plan your month. Don't start your month until it's finished. By developing a game plan for your days, your weeks, your months, by developing and following your game plan, your days and weeks and months all become part of a bigger plan, a bigger design, a long-term view of your life, a visual chain. You'll start gaining a greater perspective of it all because you are planning. It takes great discipline on your part, but it will soon lead to a new habit, a habit of mastering your time, a habit of discipline that will lead you to the good life. Now, if visually seeing the future is new to you, if you've never developed a game plan before, let me offer a few tips. There are two things that you need to understand before you create a game plan. Number one, a game plan, a visual chain of your future is like a spreadsheet. Instead of listing numbers, you list activities. It's like a to-do list. And number two, the technique of developing a game plan can be used for a single day, a single project, or a variety of projects that are happening simultaneously. Here's how you do it. First of all, you need to buy a pad of graph paper. Game plans work best on graph paper. So take a sheet of graph paper and make vertical columns of the number of days this plan is to cover. Then on the left-hand side of the paper, write the heading, Activities. Under this heading, list all of the activities to be accomplished within your time frame. Let's say, for example, that you've got 1 week to finalize a marketing plan. It's an overwhelming amount of work to complete, but it's got to be done. So break it down piece by piece. The best way to start is by listing all of the individual components on the left-hand side of the page. Now, some of these things need to be completed before others can be started. You need to have your market research results in before you can determine your target market. You need to know your target market before you can develop your marketing strategy. You need to have your marketing strategy before you can create a budget for collateral materials, and so on. When you break down the project piece by piece, deadline by deadline, you can be more effective in delegating the appropriate pieces of the puzzle. And you can be more effective in doing your own work while orchestrating the rest. The final result of developing a visual chain, your game plan, is a clear visual presentation of the tasks before you. Keep your game plan in plain sight. Put it up in your office where you can easily look at it. Have a copy of it at home and tape it to the refrigerator. Keep a copy in your journal for quick reference. Your game plan will serve as a constant reminder of all that you need to do to get where you want to go. If you're doing all that you're scheduled to do, game plans are very rewarding. And the discipline of developing and following a game plan is exciting. Day by day by day, week by week by week, month by month by month, you'll see the magic of your dreams and plans turning into reality. It's an incredible feeling of being in charge of your life, your surroundings, your future. It's like creating a work of art on the biggest canvas imaginable. It's creative. It's beautiful. This is powerful stuff, to dream a dream, plan for the dream, and then to watch your dream turn into reality. And what's really powerful about creating game plans is that you can see your future right before your eyes. So on those days when your energy isn't up to par, your enthusiasm is a little low, your ambition isn't pulling you, and your attitude isn't on the high side, on those days, use your game plan to see how far you've come and take time to realize just exactly where it is that you're headed for. On those days, it's your discipline and visual chain of the future that will pull you ahead. It can't possibly set you back. It'll pull you ahead. Develop a game plan for your life and make sure that it includes more than work projects. Make sure that your game plan includes time for recreation, time for reflection, time for exercise, time for health, time for spirituality. Let's say you've developed your plan and you've penciled in writing a report from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Well, what if you don't do your best report writing this early in the morning? What if you do this kind of work best at 3 in the afternoon? Then juggle your projects around a little. Know yourself well enough to know what you do best at different times of the day, of the week, of the month. Know the best time for you to accomplish a certain type of task and schedule it during those times. You have to work with your game plan in order for it to best work for you, and you have to maintain the discipline of working your plan until what? Until you've got it down. In the end, It is your own discipline that acts as the magic catalyst to give substance and depth to your ambition, to achieve your own plans and dreams, to have what you want to have, and to become what you want to become. Your consistent self-discipline is the magic catalyst. The ultimate question cannot be whether you are going to make the fundamental disciplines your own. The ultimate question is when. Make sure you have a game plan to match your wishes. Otherwise, they will always be wishes. It is always easier to think than to do. It is easier to promise than to achieve. It is easier to pretend than to produce. It is easier to plan than to act. I ask you not to do what is easy, but to do what will actually bring you the achievements you seek. Why postpone your better future any longer? Get at it today. Get some new books, make a new plan, set a new goal. Ask some new questions, lock onto a new resolve, make a new effort, and do it all now. Now, here's the next part of the success formula. Learning to handle the passing of time. Patience to let the seasons work their work. You can't hurry the spring. It does its work in its time. You can't rush the summer. It does its work in its time. You can't shorten the winter. It's going to be however long or difficult it's going to be. You just must have patience with the unfolding of things. From the beginning to reality, from nothing to something. Just make the note, there's always a way. Guess what's more valuable than money and capital? Ingenuity. The greatest capital in the world is ingenuity. Figuring out a way. I'll find a way. I'll start with nothing and find a way to turn nothing into profit.
It takes time to build a career. It takes time to make changes. Give your project time. Give your people time. If you're working with people, give them time to learn, grow, change, develop, produce. Here's the big one. Give yourself time. It takes time to master something new. It takes time to make altered changes and a refinement in philosophy as well as in activity. Give yourself time to learn, time to get it, time to start some momentum, time to finally achieve. It's easy to be impatient with yourself, right? So give yourself time. You can become a better pro. You can better master the art of parenting. You can better master the art of managing time, conserving resources, working together as a partner. Give yourself time. Let's talk about patience for a moment. Patience is what? Learning to handle the passing of time. Now, once you've had an appetite for success and you start going for it, now you've got to learn to handle the passing of time. Here's why. It takes time. It takes time to build a corporate work of art. It takes time to build a symphony orchestra with flawless music and harmony that sends you on flights of ecstasy, to be remembered long after the orchestra has shut down and the lights have gone out. It takes time to put harmony together. It takes time to build a life. It takes time to build an enterprise. It takes time to get through school. It takes time to develop and grow. So give your enterprise time. Give your business time. If you're in management, give your people time. If you're a parent, give your kids time. Don't be too short, too quick. Give them time. Now, not forever, but time. It takes time. Here's the ultimate challenge. You've got to have patience with yourself. It takes time to make changes in habit and discipline. It takes time to correct old errors in judgment and to finally give up old blame and pick up new responsibility. I'm telling you, it took me some time. I used to blame the government and blame taxes and blame the company and blame the marketplace. It took me a long time to give that up.
That was a pretty comfortable list to explain my empty bank account, pennies in my pocket, nothing in the bank, not doing well, embarrassed by my situation. It took time to give that up and only blame myself. That took a while. So have patience with yourself, number one. And number two, while you're dealing with the passing of time, number two is to keep doing it. Be persistent. Be tenacious. Keep doing it until. As long as you are patient and persistent, it's hard to elude success. As long as you maintain patience and persistence, tenacity, there's only one person, just one person that will draw the line between success and failure. One person, and that person is you. So be patient. Be persistent. You need both patience and persistence together, and here's why. Lack of patience is probably the worst enemy of ambition. While your ambition keeps growing, keeps moving, keeps looking for new ways to succeed, impatience tends to grow frustrated. Impatience won't allow for persistence. Impatience wants to give up. Impatience calls discouragement failure. But your ambition won't let you give up so easily, not if you're persistent. What others may call failure, ambition calls a learning opportunity, a chance to make adjustments along the charted course to success.
Here's the next one. Step to success. Learning to solve problems. Business problems, family problems, personal problems, financial problems, emotional problems. I mean, the list is unending. Challenges for us all. Here's the best way to treat a problem. An opportunity to grow, change if you have to, modify if you must, discard an old philosophy that wasn't working well for a new one. When I first met Mr. Shoaff, he said, "Show me your current economic plan that you're working on." And I said, "I don't have any current economic plan except, keeping my head above water. I mean, that was my current economic plan." He said, "Well, without plans, it isn't going to change. So why not give up the old way of doing it, with your fingers crossed, hoping for the best? Maybe the Democrats will get elected and everything will change for the better. Why don't you modify that old philosophy that hasn't gotten you where you want to go? And let's try some new strategy. Learning from the old, trying some new." And I did that, solving that problem of amending my philosophy that hadn't gotten me where I wanted to go that first 6 years. Once I made those changes, I became a multimillionaire over the next 6, 7 years. The change was so startling, I couldn't believe it myself. But if you make the changes, right, things will start to change. Here was the best promise my mentor ever gave me. He said, "Mr. Rohn, if you will change, everything will change for you." Wow, I took that to heart. And sure enough, the more I changed for the better, the more I changed from having a poor day to a good day, from lack of discipline to discipline. The more I changed, giving up old habits, acquiring new ones, the more my life changed, my income changed, everything changed. So, solving problems, treat them as opportunities to amend errors in judgment.
If you're faced with a mental roadblock, put it all down on paper. When you put a problem on paper, you take the emotion out of it. With the emotion gone, you can look at the roadblock objectively. You can figure out what you did right, and you can figure out what you did wrong. You can figure out how to change it. So here's what you do. Pick a problem out of your head and pull out a piece of paper, then draw a line down the middle. On the left-hand side, jot down the problem. Just what is the problem? Write it out. We've got so much going on in our heads that we can't figure things out until we take a piece of it out and put it on paper. What is the problem? This is the problem. State it the best you can. Now, on the other side of this paper, you put the answers or the solutions. And I've got 3 questions to ask in order to find the answers. And by the way, these 3 questions can be used to solve almost any problem. Here they are. The first question you need to write down is this: what can I do? What can I do? Because you don't want to go any further than that if you can solve it yourself. What can I do? Then what you do is develop working papers. You start jotting down, I could do number 1, I could do number 2, I could do number 3. Here's some alternatives. Then you start analyzing them. Let's see, number 3. No, that one would take too long. I haven't got that much time. Okay, number 2, not sure. Okay, let's look at number 1. Maybe this is my best one, the one I thought of first. Now, if that won't work, here's number 2. What could I read? Maybe there's a book on my problem. Somebody spent a lifetime trying to figure out this problem. Maybe it's written out in concise language somewhere to give you the instant benefit of someone's advice. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Do your homework and find the solution. And then you start developing some working papers on what you're reading. Book number 1, this guy's crazy. Book number 2, this guy's too shallow. Book number 3, this guy's got some interesting things to say about this problem. I'm telling you, if you want to solve a problem, the best questions to ask are, number 1, what could I do? And number 2, what could I read? Don't miss the book that could help. So I'm asking you, don't sell yourself short here. You can find some answers. Now first, try to find them yourself from your own experience. Then second, if you can't find them yourself, now ask, what could I read? Go to the library. Go to the bookstore. Search your own library. Go back through your own journals to find the stuff that's been helpful and valuable to you. And see if maybe you've made some notes that could be helpful in your situation. Now, if that doesn't work, then ask question number 3. And question number 3 is, who could I ask? Now, guess what you're prepared with when you ask somebody to help you? You've got your working papers to show them. You say, I've got my working papers. I've tried my best to figure it out myself. And that finally left me short. Here are some of the books I've read. I've researched this material, and I'm still short. Now could I possibly ask you, and could you possibly help me? You can't believe how willing somebody will be to help you if, first of all, they've gotten the idea that you were willing to help yourself. So if you've got a problem, pull it out of your head and put it down on paper. Then ask yourself, what can I do? And if that doesn't work, ask yourself, what can I read? And if after researching all you can, you still can't come up with the answer, ask yourself, who can I find to help me? I promise you, if you try these ideas and ask these questions, when you've got a problem, you'll be able to solve about anything that gets in your way.